So these Antarctic beings have built countries inside the continent?
You think Antarctica's just ice? There are colonies down there, Antarcticians, actual nations hidden inside the continent. Not research bases, countries. See, Antarctica's twice the size of Europe, yet we've only explored, 15% of it? That's not because of harsh weather. It's because we're not allowed in. Not by government, by the natives. Yeah, there's an ancient peace treaty. They gave us a sliver of access. The rest, off limits, sealed, guarded, and at the heart of the continent, their crown jewel, Agathia. A kingdom built with frozen architecture and tech that looks like ancient Egypt met the future. I'm talking pyramids that generate energy. Cities welded from ice using tech we don't even understand. Free energy, unseen science. And outside Agathia, other breakaway civilizations. Some rebelled, some split off long ago. Poorer nations, but still way ahead of us in ways you wouldn't believe.
If you look at where the pyramid is, right?
Okay.
So it's really the seal of Solomon, right? So if you connect the M, the A, the S, the O, and the N, it spells Mason. So it goes upside down like this, and then like this. So it's two pyramids. Solomon, right? And then did you see the owl on there? The secret owl?
No, where's
you never seen the owl on the? This is on your money, you guys. You guys spend this every day, and you guys never seen this.
Owl is on the dollar?
Yeah. So you need a magnifying glass, but it's up here somewhere, right where the one is. You need a magnifying glass, but it's on there, right? And then it's Anuit Forceptus, right? So you know what that means?
No.
Okay. So, and I'll break that down in Novus Ordo Seclorum. New Order of the Ages. And then Anuit Forceptus means he signals the beginning. Who are they talking about? In God we trust. Which God are we talking about? God doesn't need money. So, Antichrist. We're in the beast system right now, you guys. This is why I love crypto, because it's the exact opposite of this shit. It's not even worth the paper it's printed on. So you mean to tell me we give all the power to a private entity, the Federal Reserve, who's not federal, nor have reserves, and they lend it out to us, and we got to pay it back with taxes and interest? Does that make sense to anybody?
You are actually cousins with the entire Earth, and here's why. This is you, your 2 parents, your 4 grandparents, and your 8 great-grandparents. If we continue and go back 5 generations, you have 128 great-great-great-great-grandparents who lived roughly 200 years ago. If we trace back 40 generations, you would have more than 1,000,000,007 ancestors, who would have all lived at the same time. But that's impossible. Given that humans have been around for about 200,000 years, there would have been over 7,000 generations leading to your existence. Therefore, there must have been some interbreeding. If we dive deeper into the math, we can conclude that every living person today has a common ancestor in their family tree who lived about 3,000 years ago, at a time when there were only tens of millions of humans alive. But this is just math. It's theoretical. However, genetics shows us that we all share a common mother, referred to as mitochondrial Eve. It's believed she lived about 150,000 years ago in East Africa. Only her lineage survived, while all others went extinct. I won't delve into the details, but it's absolutely fascinating. So rest assured, inbreeding no longer poses health risks for third-degree cousins and beyond, which is fortunate since we're all related. However, it's probably best to avoid marrying your first cousin.
Here's what would happen if we built tunnels between continents. Imagine taking a train from New York to London, or from Europe to Africa, all without ever leaving the ground. Well, we've already done something similar. The Channel Tunnel between England and France goes 45 meters below the seafloor, built by 1,000-ton waterproof digging machines that carve through rock while holding back the ocean. Now, Imagine doing that, not for 50 kilometers, but for 5,500. The Channel Tunnel took 6 years and $13 billion to complete. Scaling that up across the Atlantic would take trillions of dollars and decades of work. And even if we avoided all the water and tried digging through the solid ground from England to America, that would take forever. So instead, imagine building one massive 5,500 kilometer tube and laying it over the ocean, and then using anchors to drag it about 45 meters underwater, securing it with cables tied to the ocean floor. Inside, the tunnel would be a vacuum. No air, no drag. It's called a vac train system, where the air is removed so the train can travel at incredible speeds with almost no resistance. Not only that, the train wouldn't even touch the track. It would levitate using high-powered magnetic fields, gliding friction-free. Once launched by an electric engine, it could cruise for thousands of kilometers without slowing down. At top speed, you'd be moving around 2,000 kilometers per hour, nearly twice the speed of sound. That means leaving New York at 7 a.m. and arriving in London at 8. No plane.
Scariest conspiracy theories in the world that will seriously change your life. Today, this is mad. I don't like this. If you've got surgery coming up or you know anyone that's going into surgery, don't watch this. I mean it. It wasn't until 2020 when doctors actually realised how anaesthesia worked. Knew it worked when they were putting you to sleep, but they didn't know the complications and the side effects or whatever, which is mad to think. This led people to have a lot of theories, and this is the main one. Theory is you get put to sleep, but during the surgery you're actually fully conscious, like anaesthesia awareness, which you've probably heard of, where you wake up during surgery and feel everything. So what if in surgery you feel everything, you hear everything, but you're basically paralysed so you can't move or speak? But the drug that's in it actually makes you forget when you wake up. So during the surgery you feel everything, but as soon as you wake up you forget it ever happened. It would make sense, and it's terrifying. Follow on, I'll see you in the next one.
There's 28-day moon cycles, and there's 13 per year. So when you think of your calendar, and you have 12 months, where is the missing month? Because you have 13 moon cycles per year, so where is the missing month? It's something we don't think about. You have 13 28-day moon cycles, but you only have 12 months in a year. Where is the off month? And this is why when I say connecting to the moon energy, you can see that the same cycle happens every single time. So where is that month that we're missing? And then you start to say, well, what season are we actually in then? Because if we're always missing basically a month all the time, then that would mean our timeline is very incorrect, or our calendar is very incorrect as well. You know, and as somebody just said, we switched to the Gregorian calendar and we messed up all our cycles. Yes, we did. And that's the thing. We don't even know what day or year we are in. This is where it gets crazy. You know, someone could say, well, today's 2023. According to who? Who told you we're in 2023? And then, what month are we actually in? And if you create this confusion, you can then control the people because they start to believe, well, I'm in 2023. Well, what happens if you were in 2023? Like 1023? Then what? You'd really start thinking things different. Because, you know, if you start thinking about the calendar and now everything's thrown off, you'd start there and go, oh my gosh, wait a minute, this is what year we're in? Wait, what month are we in? And then we start going, oh, well, what season am I in? And then who created that up too? Who made up that number? You know, that's the other part. You sit there and go, maybe, what happens if we're in like 5046? You know? And then you sit there and you think you're still driving a car with 20 miles to the gallon in 5046.
There's a theory that Sonic isn't actually fast. Sonic? The reason Sonic moves faster than everyone else isn't because he's actually that fast.
Everyone else is slow?
Kinda.
Okay.
He uses the chaos energy. You know the crystal? The chaos crystal?
Yeah.
He uses the chaos energy to slow everyone else down. No, he just slows down time.
Continuing, I wanted to warn you guys. Their phones were being spied on. Click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately.
He actually time travels. He time travels.
That's funny, fam.
That's what he does.
Yeah. I could see that. But like his whole character is running fast.
Yeah, but his thing isn't actually like him being fast. It's him slowing down time. That's what it is.
Starlink, ele vai sair nos pedaços.
Quem filmou?
Olha lá.
Gente, mas eu nunca vi isso, Fábio.
Mas
Mas
Starlink,
tá
você
diferente.
costuma ser sempre um atrás do outro.
É,
não é,
não tá
Starlink, tá
junto.
sozinho.
É uma nave
Quem
física.
viu
É,
é
uma,
nada
eu.
isso aí, ó.
Quem? Eu,
Você
Ju.
viu, Ju?
É uma nave física.
Paga tudo aí.
É uma nave física, gente.
Cadê o pai do rei?
Caraca! Puta que pariu.
Vocês viram?
Mas
Olha lá. Filmaram, né?
Tão filmando.
Pô, quem que viu primeiro?
A Ju. A Ju viu e avisou. Ah lá, gente, olha lá. Ah, não, é avião.
Não, mas onde ela vai? Vamos ver.
Não, dá pra ver.
Ela tá descendo.
Ah lá, tá.
Видится. НЛО 100%. Это НЛО. Целым планом. А где мама? Один. Слушай, НЛО 100%. Представляешь, сколько мы здесь не были?
We've got some absolutely amazing footage coming from a user called A helicopter chasing a orb UFO, and he captured this in real time. He's absolutely perplexed. This helicopter was actively pursuing this object, right? Orb in nature, right? I'm going to put the full video at the end so you guys can listen to it and go check out A as well, because this is absolutely mind-blowing. But if we put this into a reference into what other people have seen over the years, I guess, this is something that we have kind of been privy to. We see a lot of craft pursuing these objects. Are they researching them? Are they trying to figure out what they are or what is going on? But there's so many sort of like vehicles that aren't even showing up on flight radar doing this sort of behavior. So I don't know, man. Check out this clip now and listen.
Yo, that is a freaking orb. That's an orb being chased by a helicopter. What the hell? That is a straight up orb, dude. Being followed by a freaking helicopter. What the hell? I just now pulled up. Smells like something's burning. That is nuts.
Well, we got some footage coming out of California of a strange orb-like plasmoidal thing floating through the sky. And notice in the background here, everyone is just standing in the street staring up at this thing's stump. And if you can listen to the background as well, you can just hear everyone kind of perplexed about the whole situation, right? As this bright light tends to dim down, it's moving across the sky, and then it begins, and then it stops. So it's not going up, it's going sideways like this, okay? Not vertical, horizontal. That's the word I was looking for, right? And then it turns into this plasmoidal orb, and we've seen something similar to this that was in China. If I can find a video right here, okay? This is the same exact object that was seen. No noise associated with it, and it's just carrying on and floating by, right? Unbelievable. And look, as it's there, it's just kind of slowed down. Now it's kind of stopped. It's moving very slowly. Again, when it comes to these sightings, this isn't the first time we've seen something of this nature, okay? I mean, the people are probably going to be like, it's a flare, it's nothing else, but there's no sort of like flare. A, that doesn't make any noise. B, it's not going vertically, it's travelling horizontally through the sky. It's actively moving through the clouds. It's going like that, and then it slows down, and then carries on, right? Look at it. That is insane. Orb? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. I thought this was hella interesting. California? Come on, man.
Some things may occur that may be earth-shattering.
Recently, there have been rumours that something maybe, coming around the corner, maybe in January. I just wondered if you'd heard anything. Is there anything that you're able to talk about?
All I would say is I think some things may occur, this is my current assessment, that may be earth-shattering, that may scare a few people. And yeah, this topic can be scary. The unknown can be scary. All I would say is that this is just the status quo. It's been hidden. It has always been like this. If it comes out that this is real, it's verified by very credible sources, you get credible information, credible evidence come forward to definitively say, yes, the phenomena is real, we're being visited, and we're engaging with non-human intelligence. This is just the status quo. It's how the world is. It's just been hidden from us for so long. And I think that that's how we should view it. It's just nature to some extent, and you can't hide nature. And this is just the way of the world. It's always been like that, and I think people can take it.
The world's first automatic doors were on an ancient Greek temple, and they appeared to be opened by the gods.
The priest lit a fire. Now, the worshippers couldn't see, but that fire started to heat a tank of water. The water would boil, create steam, which would push through into a second tank, which would force water through a pipe into a bucket. The bucket was attached by a series of ropes and pulleys to the door. So as the bucket filled and fell, the doors would open. The worshippers would be absolutely amazed. They think that the gods themselves have opened the temple doors. They flood in, awe-inspired.
All right, there's no need to panic, but there is cause for concern. Let's talk through this whole situation of incursions happening over in Denmark. Airports are shutting down, fighter bases are being targeted, NATO is on alert. Denmark has just faced one of the most mysterious and seemingly coordinated incursions in recent memory. It all began on the 22nd of September when Copenhagen Airport shut down for nearly 4 hours after these unidentified objects appeared overhead. The same night, Oslo Airport in Norway shut down. And this suggested that something was going on. It wasn't just one little random one-off. Over the next several nights, the incursion spread to other airports and military facilities, even Skysdrup Air Base, which is home to Denmark's F-16s and F-35s. These are some of Denmark's most critical military assets. And the crafts moved like they were trained. They were cutting lights, they were changing paths, and they were making tracking almost impossible. The Prime Minister, Fredriksson, called it a serious attack on critical infrastructure, and Defense Minister Poulsen warned that the incursions were coordinated. On September 27th, NATO actually stepped in, boosting surveillance across the Baltic, where tensions with Russia are already high. By September 28th, Denmark banned all civilian drone flights nationwide, calling the activity unprecedented. And on September 30th, Justice Minister Peter Hummelgaard compared this moment to the way the U.S. changed after 9/11. He warned that Danes need to adapt a new reality where hybrid attacks are potentially part of everyday life. These are believed to be advanced foreign drones probing NATO defenses, but some are saying that it's mixed with something even stranger, because there have been reports of drones morphing from one thing into another, which all sounds very similar to the activity that was going on in parts of England and the U.S. So far, not a single one has been intercepted, not one recovered, which is crazy. Stay tuned. I'll keep you updated. But let me know, do you think it's a foreign adversary or something stranger?
We're outside.
And we are seeing all of these red things.
Do a couple zoom ins. They're just floating.
They're just floating. And there's a bunch of them. And they're coming out of nowhere.
Look at them swirling around.
Yeah.
The ancient Commission gods didn't come from Earth at all. They came from somewhere else. And so every account, and this is not a Billy Carson idea. This is the text. This is the ancient Egyptians, the records that they left behind, and the glyphs that they left carved into temples in Egypt. They say they came from the sky. And according to them, they came from different star systems. This is well documented. So these people came from space. There are people living in space and on other planets and other solar systems that look just like us. You know why? Because human beings were seeded on this planet. Earth is an abandoned seed colony. I'll say that again. Earth is an abandoned seed colony. We were taken advantage of about 200,000 years ago when these Atlantean people came here, and some of them decided to masquerade as gods and pimp us for labor.
You were meant to find this video. Our ancestors had vast knowledge about space travel, and I can prove it rather easily. In the ancient Sumerian tablets, there are depictions of gods known as the Anunnaki. But here is where that gets interesting. These gods are often shown wearing what appears to be helmets, and the translations often suggest that these helmets were necessary for breathing. Guess where? In environments without air, like the moon or the planet Mars. Thousands and thousands of years ago, how could these ancient civilizations know about places beyond Earth, especially the fact that you need special equipment to breathe? The Enuma Elish, another ancient text, describes gods descending from the heavens in glowing, powerful crafts. These crafts sound eerily similar to modern spaceships and rockets. Now here is the proof. Ancient civilizations were incredibly accurate in their depictions of animals, daily life, and their surroundings. Their detailed and precise artwork show that they drew what they saw. If they were so accurate with these aspects, why would their depictions of spaceships and helmets be any different? In Peru, there are enormous geoglyphs that depict humanoid figures with what also appear to be helmets. These lines are also only fully visible from the air, suggesting that they were able to see them from above. Our ancestors had knowledge far beyond what we give them credit for. Were these gods ancient astronauts equipped with advanced technology?
What if Lord Ganesha's face was hidden inside your brain? Yes, you heard that right. When scientists examining the human brain from beneath, then they made strange discovery which literally stunned everyone.
There was a group of neuroscientists who suddenly studying the ventral view of the human brain. While mapping the brain's structures in the pons, medulla and cerebellum, they noticed something unbelievable. The shape, the symmetry and the layout was eerily resembled the face of Lord Ganesha. But wait, it's getting more shocking. In ancient Indian, Lord Ganesha is called the Lord of Intellect, who is the controller of the brain and nervous system. Even modern neuroscience confirms that this controls the crucial functions like breathing, heartbeat, and coordination of our brain. So is it just a myth or something far beyond our imagination? Comment me below.
Let's talk about two ancient objects that survived the destruction of Herculaneum, and one of them blew my mind. Wait until you see it. Ever wonder what stories ancient artifacts can tell us? Unlike Pompeii, Herculaneum preserved wood, carbonized into charcoal by volcanic mud. It sealed the entire town in place. If you want a full breakdown on how that works, drop a comment. I've got more to share. But first, these wooden shutters. Yes, actual ancient wood, carbonized. We're used to seeing brick and marble in ruins, but here we can literally see the window as it looked almost 2,000 years ago. Let's zoom out. Look at this. The dark wood across the frame, so much of it survived. That's what makes Herculaneum feel so special, like you're walking through time. Now this next one, my jaw dropped when I saw it. A nightstand, doors, shelves, even a pull-out drawer. Why didn't I expect to see that? It's so familiar, like it belongs next to your own bed. I can picture it next to an ancient bed. I've got photos of those too if you want to see them. Or maybe it's sitting in the atrium next to a couch. There's so much left to share from these buried cities. Follow for more ancient finds and tell me which one surprised you most.
Fascinating facts about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptians used a form of paper called papyrus, which was made from the river plant of the same name. It is possibly the earliest form of paper known to humans. Egyptians believed in a pantheon of gods and were one of the earliest civilizations to practice a complex religion that involved rituals, offerings, and specific burial customs. Ancient Egyptians practiced a form of dentistry and had surprisingly advanced dental problems due to the grit and sand that got into their bread and food, causing teeth wear. Hieroglyphs, the writing system of ancient Egypt, were not deciphered until the discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799, which carried the same text in Greek, hieroglyphics, and another form of Egyptian script.